you guys should just wake up. If it had been successful, they would just topple government and then we're back to what? 26, 27 years ago? Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ o. Chukwamankwe. Like God forbid. We've taken so much step forward that we can't even start going backwards anymore. No way. No, we can't. The one we have now, let's intensify efforts. Like the civilian rule we have, the democracy we have, we can only just work to make it better. Let us not think that another form of government is our savior. Because you see, we have tried them over the years. As of the time they entered, when they were leaving, they were all tyrants. If we haven't tried them before, we can even say okay. I remember I was in primary school when Abacha toppled the government of Shonekon. It's so clear in my head, the teacher's face. I was saying, Abacha, hey, Abacha. How she was shouting. I will never forget. I don't know the class I was then in primary school. But till today, a lot of people will argue that Abacha is the worst military. Well, it's subject to everybody's interpretation. But some people will argue that he was the worst. Come. So this cool thing in Nigeria. So it's actually true, or what am I hearing? Like, is it true? Because when I saw that story on social media, I was like, it's one of all those propaganda, all those kind of stories that is not true. Because I am one person that would like beat her chest to say, the Nigeria of today, after almost more than 25 years of democracy in Nigeria, the military cannot take over again. I just said that there's a lot of parameters that have been put in place to ensure that doesn't happen again. Even some either put in place by the government or some that times have brought about those kind of things. So for that reason, it will be very hard for a country like Nigeria, I'm not talking about other West African countries, because, coup have been happening like almost like 3 or 4 West African countries. Their leaders are people who just had coup in the last 2 to 3 years or so. So I'm not even saying all those countries because I don't know their dynamics. I'm talking about Nigeria, how far we have come. I was just that kind of person that said, coup cannot happen again. Why? Because when Obasanjo came in 1999, the first thing he did was all those senior officers who have the tendency of planning a coup, retired them, and then set the country on a path that coup was or is impossible. Like retired them, so that actually sent shock, in the military, that before they could even bounce back and, start planning coup again, times have moved on and people have moved on. So they more or less started aligning with the civilian rule. So, but seeing this, I'm like, from where to where? One of the reasons why I said, coup is almost impossible or is impossible in Nigeria is the fact that in those days, there was no social media. There was it's only one channel of news dissemination we had, Radio Nigeria, and maybe NTA, those, just one channel, and it's controlled by the government. So if government wants to just hear, dun, 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 the next thing, military is announcing that they've taken over. So there is nowhere to foil the coup. So once there's an announcement on radio, the military has taken over. So I felt like, with this social media, now we have a lot of, traditional media, online media. And you know one thing, if coup is announced when it hasn't happened, it's already a foiled coup, right? So I said that there are a lot of, especially the mass media, that is even enough for coup not to happen because they're not even sure that story will not come out before they even plan it. And somehow, a lot of the military people, I feel like they are the civilian government has taken them so close that they now more or less maybe see money and maybe work with the government so close that coup is the last thing on their mind. You get? And somehow there is a way they have even taken care of the military. I don't know how to say it, that they have aligned with the project democracy that Nigeria is practicing. So hearing this one again, I'm like, that means it's actually true, because this report now that they've taken like 15 of them for questioning or investigation, and they even named their names. If you go down this list on the screen, you see their names. So that means coup can actually happen in Nigeria, or this is what I actually mean by coup cannot happen. I mean, they tried and it's looking like it failed. Is that what it meant? Or that what I meant when I said that? No. What I actually meant when I said that was that I don't think the military officers will even have the mind to plan, not to talk of the one that will now fail. Yes, I'm very clear what was in my head. So this really calls for concern. Yeah. Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Mali, Madagascar. Even the Madagascar ones, if I heard that the military, the president that ran away to France after the military overthrow, they've stripped him of citizenship of his own country because he ran to France. But you see, there is something wrong with West Africa. Because it's like this cool thing is more in West Africa. All the countries in recent time that have been having that either failed coup or the one that actually was successful, they are all in West Africa. Ghana had one coup scare. I think Nana Akufo-Addo's government. They had a coup scare too. And now Nigeria is having this Nigerians only, like, it shocked me. Because with these stories that we're seeing, it's looking like it's true. It actually happened. If they're now naming names, then it actually happened. Why? I know that things are not going right in the country, but if it's people from a particular side of the country, because with the names, I'm not trying to be tribalistic here, but if it's like the issue of the country that is forcing people to want to see if military can take over, it could have been a coup with federal character. You get what I mean? Like maybe Yoruba go there, maybe Igbo go there, maybe other tribes will be there. But it's just a particular side or a particular part of the country. So that means it's almost defeating that thing that it's the way the country is. It's just if this thing is true, allegedly new, if the coup story is true, then I don't know whether we will say it's because of economic issues. Yeah, because it will cut across. It's not only one what do you call it? One part of the country that will stage this coup. If you go and look at the previous coups that they've had in Nigeria, it has always been coup that maybe, apart from the very early ones, but you shall see, even if it's majorly a particular tribe, you just see one person from another tribe inside. You see, there's a way another tribe just comes in. But this one, all of them are from one place, one part of the country. That is if it's true. But there is no smoke without fire. Because this story now is Premium Times that is reporting it. Nigeria. After more than 26 years of democracy, coup attempted. That means that spirit of coup is still in Nigeria. No, because trust me, however you see it, the worst civilian rule is better than the military rule. Trust me. There is a reason why they are in the military. To protect the sovereignty of the land, not to rule. Let us not. I know that sometimes some civilian rule are so bad that you want me to take over. No, we cannot use illegality to tackle a legal process. No, only a matter of time. It will show. Some of them, when they come in, that's the problem. Because if they want to come in and reset it and then maybe hand over to somebody a proper civilian rule, then you will say, okay. But most of the times when they come in, they will come in and stay and stay and stay. Some of them from military, they will transform themselves to civilian. They will continue. They will continue. Or if they try to pretend and hand over to civilian rule, they will be doing bad. They will be the one at the background still doing things. If you do anything again, another group can come and topple you. Military government only creates inconsistency in government. It doesn't help the economy. It doesn't. Don't be fooled by Burkina Faso. Don't be see. They might just be an exception. But you see that Burkina Faso's own too. Let him also not overstay his welcome. Because only a matter of time, if you don't know when to leave, when the invasion is the loudest, they will show you the way out. This Paul Biya that we're talking about, when he came in 1982, he was like their savior. Check all the leaders that became sit-tight leaders in Africa. Go and check when they got in. In the initial time they got in, they were like the saviors of their countries when they got in. But with time, and a lot of them were military officers when they took over. So then when they come, it looks like, somebody has come to save us from this civilian rule. But then some of them end up doing worse. But you see, for civilian rule, they may not be doing things right, but we can control them. We can check them. We can know that, okay, Shay don't enter. He's not doing well. Okay, after 4 years, we'll vote him out. Or after 4 years, we'll vote him in. Like you can actually plan in a civilian rule, but in a military, you cannot. It brings inconsistency in government. So that's why nobody should encourage any coup. No matter how bad the situation is, it's never the solution. Don't let people fool you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you think we are lying, or you think I'm not saying just don't remove emotions about how you feel about your country at the moment. Go and check all the countries. Let's leave propaganda. Let's leave propaganda. Check the countries in Africa where there's military rule and check the ones with civilian rule. There is no basis for comparison. Now, maybe we might be expecting the civilians to do more and we're not getting more. But you see, go and check those countries that is run by the military. They are just stagnant. They don't even know anything. They don't even know when that military government tenure will come to an end. They don't even know inconsistent policies, sanctions all over because they came in, they are illegitimate government. No matter how you say it, they were not voted in there. So, Nigeria, this is scary. I'm not even going to lie to you. It is scary. It is scary. Unless you want to kill yourself, it is scary. So, but thank God, if you actually wanted to happen, it didn't happen. But this should be a wake-up call for the government as well. I don't know, but you guys should just wake up. If it had been successful, they would just topple government and then we're back to what? 26, 27 years ago? Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ o. Chukwamankwe. Like God forbid. We've taken so much step forward that we can't even start going backwards anymore. No way. No, we can't. The one we have now, let's intensify efforts. Like the civilian rule we have, the democracy we have, we can only just work to make it better. Let us not think that another form of government is our savior. Because you see, we have tried them over the years. As of the time they entered, when they were leaving, they were all they were all tyrants. If we haven't tried them before, we can even say okay. Apart from the ones that left when they were supposed to leave, I think it's somebody. It's only people like Obasanjo, you know, Abdul Salami, those ones that did election that brought in civilian rule. You know, those ones they didn't overstay their welcome in a way that people started clapping for them. Go, 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 go. Every other military government we had, when they came in, hey, I remember I was in primary school when Abacha toppled the government of Shunekon. I can, like, it's so clear in my head, the teacher's face, how he was saying, Abacha, hey, Abacha, how she was shouting. I will never forget. I think I don't know the class I was then in primary school. But till today, a lot of people argue that Abacha is the worst military. Well, it's subject to everybody's interpretation. But some people will argue that he was the worst. As of the time, he was even trying to transition from military to civilian rule. So, in any way you look at it, coup is not an option. You see how we all can sit down here and say, and if you want to cost Tinubu from now to tomorrow, no go answer you. The freedom of speech we think we all have now, we are all talking. We can sit down and call Tinubu names, insult our leaders. They won't mind us. You can't even try it in the military. You can't. This freedom of speech that we have, that we can even if they are not listening to us, but we will make our voice can be heard. Until they take that one from you, all those civilian presidents, you'll be begging them to come back. So, I mean, the last thing you want anybody to take at this point in time, at this much that we know, is your voice. It's better you're talking, nobody is listening, than you can't even talk at all. That's it, though. So, make with this information whatever you want to, because hey, I'm out of here. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I see you again in my next video. Bye for now.